The age of addiction.
Addictions have always been a thing in this world, and it's inevitable people get them. Each generation has had a different set of ones affect them more compared to the next. Boomers were more addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, being the victim of the tobacco industry and having
What's y'all biggest addiction? I feel like if the boomers' addiction was alcohol and cigarettes ours, I ain't gonna lie, they should have never introduced the internet to us. That's all I'm gonna say.
them pay off doctors to say things like this.
You know, this night work's kind of rough, isn't it? That's right. But a camel's always a pleasure.
Yes, folks, the pleasing mildness of a camel is just as enjoyable to a doctor as it is to you or me.
I think my question with cigarettes is like, why did doctors promote it? Did they say it was healthy? Look, it's one thing to say, okay, yeah, you could do it recreationally. How the hell did they make people believe that this was healthy for you? Where did they get their degrees from? I mean, back then they was giving anybody degrees, right? I don't even think you had to work for that shit.
But hey, it's all good. They made it for that stress by beating their millennial children for asking them to get a toy. Millennials and Gen X are more addicted to alcohol and prescription drugs, and also posting the most cringe content you'll ever see on TikTok. I guess that's what happens when you were the victim of the generation that would beat you just because. You know what? If they're having fun on their side of the internet, I'm happy for them. And of course we end up with the dump of all that, which is Gen Z. But I think we're kind of different because before you had to do a little more searching in the past generations to get—
You know what? As bad of the trends and the things we're addicted to is bad for Gen Z, I still think Gen Z is better than the generation before us. The millennials or whatever they call themselves. We're still miles ahead. Y'all were racist. Y'all went to war. Shout out to y'all though. But I'm just saying, like, if our biggest concerns are being cringe, then that's better than going to war. I'm sorry.
That addiction, you know, like have the money to buy a cigarette or alcohol. But now because of the digital age, it's made it almost impossible for Gen Z to not have an addiction. The amount of people in Gen Z who just have an addiction casually and we act like it's normal is kinda insane. We were the first test group of the internet's effect on a younger generation, and now that everyone's on the internet 24/7, like 90% of people have an addiction
because of the internet.
So I want to talk about all the ones that are getting pushed and more amplified with us, I would say. And we could start off with food. Okay, food didn't start with us, and Gen Z isn't even the fattest generation, but because of online ads and social media ads, it's very easy to push. We haven't even paid attention to the thought of how many food delivery apps we have. Bro,
I will say that's crazy, and I would 100% contribute to that. The amount of money I have lost with DoorDash, it's actually scary. And I will say one thing about Gen Z, we do not like spending money, but when it comes to food, we don't care.
Bro, growing up, I remember the most you could deliver to your house was a pizza. It would be late night, and if you were craving something and didn't want to drive to an actual physical location, your ass had to order some Domino's or Papa John's. I know it had to suck working at one of those places back then though, because the amount of prank calls that would go viral on YouTube of people just trolling them was astronomical. Like this channel Ownage Pranks used to go A1 back in the day. Bro would spout the most stereotypical racist accent to a worker and ruin their day. And you don't even need the delivery apps anymore. If you just download the fast food apps, they get it delivered for you. You know,
Is nigga food an actual thing?
you got your Chick-fil-A's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Food, Chipotle, wait, what? Yeah, believe it or not, that was a real delivery service app until it got taken down. I wonder how such a family-friendly thing could violate Apple's terms of service. And if you
There had to be a team at Apple that even approved that app to be in the App Store. What was in there?
download one of these food apps, you could save like half your costs by using them. They make it easier than ever to get big backed because they'll give you the best deals ever that for some reason they don't offer if you don't order on the app. And quarantine at my biggest backers, I was trapping off that McDonald's app getting
I had like 100,000 unredeemed McDonald's points. I know now it's probably gone because if you don't use it, you lose it. But yo, I genuinely could have perhaps went the whole year eating solely McDonald's.
Large fry with a $1 purchase. You got with 2 million McDonald's points who order basically every day for the past 4 years. At that point, do you get to meet Ronald McDonald or something? Because that has to deserve some type of reward. TikTok got to be the biggest influence for food nowadays though. Because how many times have you seen a food spot on TikTok and it's near you? And you think to yourself, well, damn, now I gotta try to see what the hype is. With traveling nowadays, everyone's go-to when looking for food is going to TikTok to see what the people are.
The only thing I hate about DoorDash, going through DoorDash is like the same as like scrolling through Netflix. With DoorDash, it's like you will look at 30 different restaurants, see which foods are good, see the reviews, see everything, try something that you think looks good, just to resort to, I don't know, Taco Bell, things that you always eat. That's the only thing I hate about getting food from DoorDash. I'ma always get the same shit.
Saying is the best. I always think how insane Keith Lee's come up was, and it shows how big backed we really are. Because he quite literally will go to a food spot, give a review, and all it takes is a God damn, that's good. And the whole restaurant is fully booked up for the rest of the year. That's not a diss either, by the way. You know what I'm saying? We F with Keith Lee over here. And then you got those mukbang videos that became popular where they're eating gargantuan masses of food. I learned that some people watch these because they want to feel like they're literally eating the food, but their stomach can't.
That's a mental illness. I'm sorry. Someone has to say it. If I'm hungry, the last thing I want to see is someone hoard up all the food that I want to eat at the moment for my entertainment. If anything, that's going to make me even more hungry.
Can't take it, so they watch someone else do it. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with them. I just get sick and want to yak out a car window after looking at these. If you eating like this, you dead ass abusing your stomach wall lining. Next, we got vaping. For all the people who watch me and vape, I just want to let you know you're bigger than the vape. So do me a favor and put it down for your health now and your future. And pick up a cigarette like a real. I always find it so insane that our generation was bombarded with PSAs about smoking and the harmful effects of it. Everyone ended up thinking we wouldn't be affected by it as much and be a much more healthy generation. Until they released flavors with the name Mango Cherry Freeze.
You know what? I don't care what anyone says. I am a vape hater. No one should smoke vape. And as a person who has never smoked vape, I see these flavors and I get tempted. What do you mean you're smoking mango, cherry, banana, strawberry air? That just sounds good. Like, I see why people are doing this. I don't recommend it. I definitely don't think you should take it. But gang, what if I want to know how a slurp juice tastes like?
Fortnite carts that no one knows the origin of to change minds instantly. I knew our generation was going to be the most addicted to it when I would walk in the school bathroom and casually see two in a stall with clouds of smoke coming out of it. And you'd have some dude on lookout paying attention to the sound of the jingling of keys to tell if a staff member was around or not. Then they start fumbling around and waving the smoke around to try to hide it. I didn't even know how bad it was at first though, until I found out kids in elementary school are doing it too. As a kid in elementary school, where the fuck are you getting the money to even afford that? Are you so—
Bro, smoking before your lungs even fully development is so wild to me, bro. Here I was thinking, okay, people who are smoking cigarettes or smoking vape, when they turn 60 and their body gives up on them, they're gonna regret it. When y'all turn adults, you gonna regret it. You ain't even gotta wait till 60 anymore.
Selling your rare Fortnite skins or something, then ordering them on eBay? According to statistics, 3.5% of middle schoolers in America vape as well.
That's rookie numbers. We need to up the stats. Come on, y'all. No, I'm joking. I'm not influencing anybody.
Okay, we gotta bring back those scary anti-smoking ads. Because I remember when I was a kid being terrified of the thought of smoking. They would show the diagram of a healthy lung versus smoker lung, and I would have nightmares for the rest of the week. And
I'll be real with y'all. If I get a hole in my neck, I'm cooked. My shit already long as hell.
And no, you can't quit at any time. If you're somebody that has to sit there and reason with your friends like you're making a deal on Wall Street that you can, then let me introduce you to the last stage of grief, acceptance. It's okay to accept the fact that the rest of your friends are gonna live amazing, willing, full lives until 80, 90, or 100. And at 40, you're gonna drop randomly in your kitchen after those mango cherry freeze chemicals reach your heart. And weed smokers, where y'all going? Cause y'all ain't safe from this either. In general, I think out of a weed smoker and vape smoker, the weed smoker is usually more healthy. Mainly because the product doesn't have mysterious chemicals imported from a factory in Beijing. Nowadays, though, they be lacing the hell out of that weed, so I don't even know.
Y'all know there's like a vape tester, right? That's like an actual position. There's a dude that tests all the vapes before it actually goes through the packaging process. How is his lung still functioning, bro?
About that anymore. You could be picking up what you think is some regular saw from your local dealer, and it ends up being laced with fent, raccoon, and pee. The most annoying thing about weed smokers is they do the same thing as vape smokers, saying they can quit at any time, but they'll also argue with you, saying it makes them more productive. And they'll bring up successful people that do it as an example, like, I don't know, Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa. The person saying it, though, 99% of the time is never productive. Like, you ask them what they did through the week, and it's take a shower once, rage on Valorant.
Am I the only one that looks at people who smoke, like successful people that smoke, and just do drugs? And I look at myself and I'm like, bro, there's no excuse for you not to be going crazy right now. Because if people that successful are keeping up their success and working hard, all while doing drugs, bro, you should be locking in too.
To Sophie Rain, then smoke 7 times. If you're not one of those productive people using it, then you can't say it. And you'll also never be as productive as someone sober in that time. It's so bad, you got who will work the whole week, then half of their paycheck is going to some rolling papers and that flight duck pack. I think the reason why the rise of addictions and smoking weed is because it's so easy.
Also, I'm so glad I'm not addicted to weed or alcohol, because bro, there's people who actually take funds from their paycheck so that they're dedicated to smoke. That's absurd to me, bro. You are living in a 1-bedroom apartment apartment struggling to pay bills, but you need 250 to get you some ounces. That's insane. Get your life together, bro.
To access nowadays. They got whole apps meant to deliver strains to people, and you can go on Snapchat and casually see 10 dealers in a 1-mile radius. Back then, people were scared of getting caught, especially when the internet wasn't a thing. Plus, it was a lot more penalized, so people didn't take the risk. Next, we got gooning. I already made a whole video on this, so we don't gotta spend a lot of time on this. But the algorithms nowadays, more than ever, are meant to fuel horniness. Like, have y'all ever opened your Instagram feed or TikTok feed and they're literally throwing it in your face? No matter how many times I click not interested, it doesn't work. I think they have the button there just for fun. The best platform I see optimized where I don't see it is YouTube, because my algo was built brick by brick. It still happens though, trust me. Like, somebody watching this probably got some freaky AI chatbot ad. But on Instagram and TikTok, they purposely don't listen to me. I just want one person to do some research on these algorithms and see if they got a horny piece of code written in there.
I mean, I will say this, bro. What you gotta understand about social media pushing out certain content, you also gotta realize one of the metrics for videos being pushed out is how much people view it. If I'm scrolling and I see a girl with a fat ass, gang, I'm watching it, and that has nothing to do with them pushing out content. It's a lot of people like what they see and staying till the end. I'm sorry, if that shit is clapping, if that shit jiggling, yo, gang, I might watch it 3 times. I might even bookmark it, save it, see it for later. It's no wonder why they push out that type of content. Yes, they can restrict it, but bro, it's what gets the views.
A lot of people also talk about why were we so sexual at a young age, which is kind of true, you know, when I think about it. It's a mix of things. One being the internet, although it's not as bad as now. Like,
I don't care what anyone says, bro. This Nicki Minaj music video changed the culture so much, bro. I remember first seeing this video, I genuinely thought it was uploaded on the wrong website. I don't know how this video to this day is not age restricted.
Of things. One being the internet, although it's not as bad as now. Like, a Gen Alpha kid with unmonitored access in 2025 is probably gonna win this corn at the age of 7. Probably a mix of us looking at these Disney stars when we were kids and thinking of some freaky. The crazy thing to me was this how OF stars and corn stars were perceived. Back then, I remember when a girl got leaked, it was the worst thing to happen to her life. Like, her whole sacred temple was exposed to the world. Or just somebody ousted as doing that line of work. They would never want that info out. But nowadays, if you see a link tree in that bio, it's like a Russian roulette of if you'll see an OnlyFans link or not. It's just a casual thing now to see someone naked online. Never in my life growing up, I would think someone I went to high school with would start one, but I'm about 0 to 3 wrong, so.
And that's so crazy to me, bro. I think when the culture started pushing out, oh, girls with fatter asses look better, that's when people got more sexual and shit. Bro, we were never supposed to see the internet. Y'all gotta understand, with the internet, you get exposed to people's fake lifestyles. You get exposed to like fine ass girls. Back then, in medieval times, you probably only gonna see 1, 2, 3 bad bitches in your life. Nigga, now you click on the internet and you see 1,000 of them, bro. And you can see their bodies. Back then, an ugly nigga probably had a good chance at bagging a fine girl. Now, you gotta have a Lamborghini. You gonna have to have money. Back then, bro, so long as you know how to hunt your hand. The internet made people become someone that they're not.
Good thing I didn't put a bet on that. Oh, and speaking of bets, gambling is next. Parlays have by themselves ruined the financial dreams of millions of Gen Z. Because with parlays, it feels like you're not putting much up. And if you already hate your job or you're trying to make it out, you're gonna take the risk and throw in something you can lose, like $10 or $20. But that ends up adding up, and as you keep losing, you end up losing like half your week's salary over some stupid.
Yeah, and I've noticed like sports betting is getting insanely more popular. Like, casinos were already bad, right? But now I see people making memes of sports betting. I think one thing y'all gotta realize, just about 3% of bettors are actually profitable. You have a 3% chance at really hitting big. Yeah, just call it quits. Stop gambling, bro. Here's the thing with gambling. People will win 20 bucks and assume they can get $2 million. It's not the same, bro.
Stupid ass prediction. My opinion is sports gambling is way more of a problem for us than traditional gambling. Like, I feel like that was the problem more back then. Although we definitely got our addicts for that too. Kick as a platform is pretty much meant as a funnel to stake where you can play slots to your heart's desire. Sports betting wouldn't even be that bad if everyone doing it actually had the disposable income too. But there should be no reason your whole paycheck is going on a bet. And it's really hard to stop because when you do get those wins, you always think you could get one potentially with another bet. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been getting a whole lot more of sports betting app ads a lot. It makes no sense too because I live in Texas. I can't even gamble here. So why are they even pushing it here when it's banned? Like, it makes zero sense to me. It's almost—
I've been seeing so much DraftKings, Prize Picks. I'm like, damn, bruh.
It's like they know people can use VPNs to do it anyways. And they be giving some crazy ass bonuses just for you to join and make a single bet. Like, who wouldn't take a free $100 to bet for just a tiny risk of forever being indebted to the app and watching every single one of the 500 bets you made in the past week? Just a tiny risk though. The sports betting industry growth is so insane when you look at the chart. Just 7 years ago, it was only $209 million, and now it's around $4 to $6 billion. If this ain't an indication of a recession, then I don't know what is. People's doing anything to get money. I guarantee there's some dads out there risking their paycheck and if their kids get to eat, just to see if the bet will hit of LeBron getting over 40 points in a game. Next, we got caffeine.
I feel like sports betting also made people hate players more. Because if you're losing an insane amount of money due to a player like stinking it up, I'd hate him too.
It's time to be open and honest, y'all. This is probably the thing I match closest with. My excuse is, though, I only take pre-workout on days I work out. Not really a good excuse, though, but trust me, I could quit anytime. I just need a little powder sprinkled in my toothpaste to get my bones jolting. Caffeine addiction is probably the easiest one to get because when you're tired in a day and need a little boost, few legal substances you can take to boost your energy. Sadly, they banned the original Coke formula, but I've heard there's ways to get around it. It also doesn't help that on TikTok, people will post their favorite coffee recipes or drink they got at Starbucks. Then people run to the store to get the exact same one to see what the hype is about. Everybody all of a sudden also started drinking matcha and making matcha everything.
Matcha, bro, I hated that, bro. Because matcha is amazing. And I like matcha beforehand. I don't want someone to think that I'm trend hopping or whatever. Matcha is amazing. A lot of y'all just have trash matcha. You need to get yourself some good matcha. I could see why there's certain people that might not like matcha. You're not drinking the good kind.
Matcha coffees, matcha pancakes, matcha noodles. A couple of years ago, would have seen something like this and fried you on the internet for even having it. But now all you gotta do is post a trying matcha noodles on TikTok and people will love it just because it's matcha. Where the f did all this matcha talk come from though? Like, matcha is cool to me, but how did they get to the point where we're facing potential global shortages of it because everyone's having it? Also, having energy drinks is more commonplace now. Like, I remember in the past, if you told someone you was drinking energy drinks, they thought you were cooked, providing for 4 different families on a one-man salary while getting 4 hours of sleep. Every company now, for some reason, has their own line of energy drinks. Like, who is dead ass drinking the toxic waste energy drink?
Yo, whoever was the one packaging this, I hope they seriously fired your ass. Why in the world would anyone drink an energy drink called toxic waste? You just know this shit is harming your body. It has a caution logo on it. There's no way people are drinking this.
And the Sonic the Hedgehog energy drink. Actually, that last one might not be too bad. Might just have me a grab it. I think caffeine addiction is also rising too because a lot more people are sleep deprived nowadays. It's a blessing for real if you can get 8 full hours of sleep in this time. So when people are tired, they say, why not? Let me just get one energy drink for the day. There is a very big risk with it though, and we can't forget. Energy drinks have only been getting used a lot more in the past 2 decades.
I'm so genuinely curious to see how this generation gonna look like when they're like 50, 60. Because I feel like we're still not in those late stages to see how terrible it's affected us when we're adults. We only know what's happening now.
So we still don't have long-term studies on their effects. And there's even tragic cases about it, like the case of Katie Donnell. Katie Donnell was a 28-year-old teacher and fitness enthusiast, and she always tried to live a healthy lifestyle and had a lot of caffeine through the day as one of the things. She would have 3 energy drinks a day and a caffeine supplement on top of that before going to the gym. And by the way, the recommended max amount of caffeine you're supposed to have in a day is 400 milligrams. Depending on how much caffeine those drinks had, she could have been having like 2x or 3x the daily limit. But even if they were smaller amounts, I think we can all agree that just the sound of having 3 energy drinks a day is insane. And in 2021, Katie had a heart attack and had to be put in the hospital, where 10 days later, she sadly passed away from the effects of it. So if you—
Damn. There's no way no one else advised her that what she's doing is crazy. If you could drink an energy drink and still be tired afterwards, that's terrible. That means your body is like used to that much amount of caffeine. Am I the only one that doesn't even need to finish a full bottle of like an energy drink? Just give me a quarter of that and I'm okay. You drink that much, bro, I'm staying up the whole night. You don't need that much. 3 of them? Oh, you're cooked.
If you're near having 3 drinks a day, it might be time to reconsider how many you're having. The best schedule for people that do want to have caffeine is 5 days a week with at least 2 days off it. The more you have it, the more tolerant you get to it. So it's always better to have a little reset just so the effects still hit. It's also a problem too that kids are now starting to have energy drinks. When Prime released its energy drinks, there was parents complaining that their kids were having them and it was causing problems. I don't know what type of stress these is even going through to be having energy drinks. I only started drinking them after having some adult type responsibilities.
Facts.
Before 18 and having them. And once again, parents strike again at not monitoring their kids, because how do they even get access to these energy drinks? Since I said I only have them when I work out, we might as well throw gym in there as an addiction. Some of y'all might think it's odd that gym is here, but if you see how fitness social media is now, you know how bad it can get. There's been a lot more of a rise in gym influencers since 2020. I'm glad the gym is becoming way more popular though, because in general, it's good for everyone's health. But
yeah, no, the gym is good for everyone's health, but this can't be healthy. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I would never want my body to look like this. I'd be damned if I'm putting on a designer jacket, if I'm putting on like a clean white tee, and that should look mad bulky. I'd rather just be like an athlete type of build, like a soccer player type of build than this shit.
I'm glad the gym is becoming way more popular though, because in general, it's good for everyone's health. But the lengths some people take to look like some of the influencers online is unbelievable. It's universally known now that a lot of influencers online straight up use performance enhancing drugs to look the best. One of the biggest known cases I would say is The Rock. Everyone knows for his physique at his age, it's almost impossible for him to look like this without taking some type of performance enhancing drug. He always denies it and says he doesn't use them, which no one
I don't know why I believe it, because I think with The Rock, you gotta understand, bro, he comes from a football wrestling background. To me, it's not insane for The Rock to have that actual build.
believes. Because when your job is to look the best, a lot of these influencers and celebs feel like they have no choice but to take them to keep up with everyone.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock was in the gym like 3 hours a day.
People in the gym community point out all the time who may be fake or real. One of the biggest gym influencers on YouTube's job is literally predicting from years of experience what influencer or celeb transformation is real or fake. But even if the influencers doing it are natural, it's never good to compare yourself because their entire job is meant to look good. Like, they can spend hours at a time in the gym every day to look like that. Meanwhile, the average person usually gets out of school or work and can have 1 or 2 hours max. And it leads to people thinking they have to take the same drugs those influencers are taking. Nowadays, there's people who will show their journey through taking steroids or testosterone casually. I guess it's kinda good they're being honest, but like, can you imagine people did this for any other drug? Imagine a meth addict showing their journey of taking it through the years. And the people taking these drugs are getting younger and younger because they look up to these guys, ruining their whole body before it even got time to fully develop. It's okay to accept the fact that you probably won't reach their level, and if you do, it'll just take you significantly longer, which is fine. Like, bro, you got decades of your life to reach that type of build if you want to. You don't gotta rush it when you're young. And the reality is, you probably won't even want to keep up with that type of physique because it'll be too much work.
Bro, one of the biggest scams I know about muscles is that if you don't maintain it, you're gonna lose it. Bro, I remember there was one time I was like, yo, my arms are looking crazy. My body looking nice. And then I decided not to work out. And I was like, yo, where the fuck everything go? Yo, this was just here like a couple months ago. When I found that out, I was a little sad. I ain't gonna lie.
Last category we got, which 90% of my audience will relate to, is unemployment. Unemployment is the new cool lifestyle that everyone's getting into.
I'm 34.
34? Okay, what do you do?
I am a risk taker. I'm a road runner. I'm an entrepreneur.
I mean, think of it.
You fuck with millionaires? What about 8 inches and thick? That's literally what that's giving, bro.
You nibble off of someone else's work for free while laying down on a couch and watching your favorite TV show. Society's become so cooked that anyone who quits their job or anyone who's applied to more than 5 and got denied just give up and decide to live that lifestyle. You even mention the word job to certain and they start quivering in fear for their life. You know,
bro, stop using that slur, bro. Come on, gang. That's up there with the F slur, the B slur. Calm down, bro. Don't get this video demonetized.
You know what? I'm feeling pretty evil today. Let's go ahead and go on a TOS run to get me packed out of here real quick. And I do want to put a disclaimer. What you're about to hear may be disturbing. Job. Employment.
No, Tommy, you gotta calm down, bro. I feel like I'm looking at God at like 2 a.m., bro. Yo, bro, chill.
Working. Career. Business. Profession. Operation.
Bro, I'm about to have a heart attack. Calm your head.
I feel free being able to say what I want. I feel like the world is in the palm of my hand. For some reason, even though it feels like no one is getting a job now, we're actually reaching low levels of employment, well, at least compared to 2020.
Well,
Moment
bro,
of silence for all my we're looking for.
Shout out to my McDonald's workers, but if the employment in question is getting a $10 per hour job at, I don't know, Arby's, bro, I'd rather be unemployed. Just because people are becoming unemployed doesn't mean their employment is enjoyable. That's why I feel like a lot of these high-paying jobs are being taken.
During COVID. Glad that wasn't me, because God knows where I would be right now. The thing that's doomed Gen Z is as soon as finally started to get their degrees and get ready for the real world, AI had to advance at levels we never thought possible. I I might have to make a video on just this alone. Man, we all thought AI would take jobs like fast food and have robots flipping burgers, but that's it. Now you got AI that can code entire websites for free. You got AI that automatically run YouTube channels and generate them unlimited money. And for us, it was a big rush of people getting STEM degrees because everyone was saying that was the speed run to get a 6-figure job. It's great to know that all those degrees are completely useless now that those jobs are taken by AI. So no wonder everyone's giving up and are embracing their unemployment. And when GTA 6 drops, mark my words, will quit their jobs just to have
Unemployment is gonna rise when GTA 6 drops.
time to play this once in a lifetime game. I'm truly scared for the job market in that moment. Hospitals are gonna be empty from doctors and nurses trying to finish the GTA 6 storyline. So anyways, that's about it. If you don't align close to any of the things I mentioned, then congrats, you're one of the special ones. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.
No, you 10 out of 10 video. YouTube, let me know of any addictions that you have. Any addictions that you think is harming society. How do we cure it? All that good stuff, man. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're so close to 800K. Like, share for life. Love y'all. And peace.